Sorry about that. I wasn't paying attention and I hit my time limit. So reason that's happened, my videos I can't go to full length like I normally would when I'm getting involved explaining stuff. I've got some other photos and a couple of videos that I need for other purposes outside auto building, and they're taking up a little space, and I haven't yet switched them over to my SD card. They're still in the phone memory, so but I need to keep them where they're at for now. So I got a little bit less time to do so. Real quick here, we're going to take a couple more minutes and finish up on explaining about where the plastic comes in handy, and also another major gap. Like I said, this rear part of the deck here wasn't the same as this rear the railing on the stern wall piece kit. So basically I had to build up these corners with strip styrene till I got them to the right contour, sand them, try to fit, sand them, try to fit, build a little more, and I got it down to where it was just a real hairline cracker, and I used the white tulip to fill it in, and then just paint over it with my deck color. So basically that's where that plastic comes in handy back there with the styrene. Regular plastic cement like the Tamiya stuff, you know, like I said, that's not made for the plastic, even though it's plastic. Plastic and evergreen strip styrene is true styrene. Model kits, they say they're plastic styrene kits. It's actually an ABS plastic, you know, a type of more different plastic. It's kind of like trying to take a normal cement and glue PVC pipe together. It won't hold. Plastic actually will bond PVC pipe. So yeah, it's pretty strong stuff. Another thing about it that's nice too is like these here areas where you really need to get a good bond and everything, so stuff doesn't separate. Plastic, you hold the pieces together with your clamp, you put a little drop of plastic down there, it's going to do the capillary action, soak in. Within about a half a minute you can take the clamp off. You got a permanent bond and all that. And in this case too, on this rear section here, each one of these, this is one piece, but you got to glue one of these posts to the bottom and the top. What I did, I glued them into the body. Did you one at a time, clamp it, let it set up for a while. Do the next one, clamp it, let it set up, go down the line. If you try to rush it, you know, and there's not room to put clamps all right next to each other because this is all pretty close to one another, you can't rush it. You got to take your time, do one at a time, let it set up, make sure you got a good bond. The same with these outer parts of the decks. When you glue it down, you put your clamp on there to hold it in place, put your plastic on there, and after about 3 seconds you can take the clamp off. You pretty much got a permanent bond there for life. Tamiya testers, they won't do that. You know, even though they're liquid glues, they're different. They're made for regular model kit plastic, not styrene, which is what your evergreen and plastic shapes are. But I mean, you could glue this, like this deck here down to those walls that I had rebuilt. I just finger held it. After about 10 seconds, I let go. It was bonded. So, and another main when you're gluing, first thing you're gluing a hull to the main deck. There's a locating pin at the front on the main deck, and there's one at the back on the stern. So what I did, I tacked down the front and the back by each locating pins, and I slowly did a couple inches at a time with the plastic. Worked my way a couple more inches, let it dry, work a couple. If you go too far and you keep on putting the plastic glue on there for the next area, and it starts running back to where you originally had glued it, you're going to get so much glue on there, your plastic's going to literally start melting, and you're going to end up with a gap just because the plastic melted. So you work a couple inches at a time, stop, hold it together till it dries, work the next couple inches, stop, or let it go till it dries, so on and so forth. You go all around. It probably took me about 4 hours to glue the deck to the hull. Like I said, a couple inches at a time, let it set up. A couple inches at a time, let it set up. And it turned out real nice. If I try to pry that deck apart from the hull, Right now, I'm going to end up cracking the outer edges of the deck, and the joint's going to be there. I mean, that's why I recommend that glue, and I use that on everything I build, not just this, because of the large surface areas and the amount of clamping you got to do. I use that plastic cement religiously on everything, and if anybody ever saw Steve Neal's videos, he reads on that too. That's his #1 glue, and that's the one I use for my go-to also. So, but anyway, let's see what else. I took my own license on these front Gangplanks. I wanted them raised up a little bit. All that you're going to have for a contact point is this area here. I wanted them raised up a little bit where they're not sitting right flush on the edge of the deck. I wanted them up a little bit, so in order so when I did do the rigging, so they wouldn't pull up or down and take a crack and snapping this boom off and everything. I used 5-minute epoxy to push them back here, and then I kind of let it set up on my little dispenser tray I mix it up on, and then once it start getting more gel-like and everything, took and built it up almost out to the edge of the deck. And once it started getting real tacky, where it was kind of to the point where you almost couldn't pull it apart more, I lifted these up, stretched out the epoxy, and then let them back down and got them in the position where I want them. And being that it dries almost to a clear look, unless you really bend down and look underneath there, you can't even see it. It's almost invisible. So, I didn't, even though I like to build models as good as I can and try to get things perfect, there's certain little shortcuts I take, and if it's not going to be noticeable to people that look at it and start nitpicking, I go for it and stuff, and that worked out real well for me. As you notice, when I moved the gangplank, the tip of it, it's not pulling on the rigging or nothing. It's not pulling on that upper boom. If I lift it up a little bit, it's not creating too much of a problem. So it's just right. Plus, they're elevated up a little bit. The turnbuckles and all these side braces and stuff up along these here parts of the rigging, whatever they're called. I know it's getting dark; they're hard to see and everything, but I had a couple extra. So what I do is tie one on top, kind of like a pulley system, because they raise and lower this boom, and that's what raises and lowers the gangplanks, to whatever they need to move them for and stuff. And the same on this one. I tied my little boards up on there. I used a little DAPA CA glue and kind of got it like a little bead. And then once it was dried, I painted over with my black. It's kind of like a little pulley system too, where everything can pivot and stuff. I seen some of the museum quality builds with and everything, but I just went with the rigging thread. The rigging thread that came with this model, it's a refined, smooth, silky finish, almost like a nylon type of thread. It doesn't have any kind of fray where you get the little fuzzies and stuff. It's very slippery when you try to tie a knot. It slips through your fingers more than anything. That was the rigging line included in the kit. It's very good up. I would use it on any kind of ship model instead of getting the other thread. You can really pull on it too, and it really doesn't yank the parts. Of course, most of these parts are pretty solid and stuff too, and all that. So let's see, before we end up finishing up this video, my flags, I took the decal sheet and printed them out on paper. I did do the curlicue effect to them, so it looks like they're waving in the wind. American flag in the back. Pretty much that's about it. Then the wheelhouse up there, being it's got a lot more windows, I didn't use the campy glue to fill in the windows. I got some clear plastic sheet styrene that I happen to get lucky and have a big hunk of sheet styrene, clear sheet styrene in one of those odds bags that I was talking to that you get with those evergreen styrene odds and ends cup bags and stuff. Let's see, that's pretty much it. I had to do a little whittling on the railings stuff to make them fit properly. I had to do some trimming here to make it set over the shoulder, because over here it mounts on the front of the deck, and along here it sits right on top flush with the deck and stuff. So I had to do some whittling on those to give them the fit per liter, not 100%, but oh well. I actually, you know, I mean, I did my best with the quality of the kit that you got. I didn't add a lot of detail. I know Charlie Mack added support braces underneath the hull. The deck, I didn't go that route because I'm going to do a water display, and it's going to almost be sitting flush along there, close in some areas where you wouldn't see it anyway. And this was one of those particular model kits, like some of my sci-fi kits, where I go all out and really super detail it, go with all the bells and whistles. The main thing with this, I wanted to light it because I thought, you know, even without any extra detailing, lit up, it's going to be pretty cool looking. This is the same scale as your N-gauge model railroad trains. I wanted to be perhaps do some figures, and being this is mid to late 18th to 1800s, the closest thing come to mind was like Wild West, you know, cowboy figures where the women wore the long fancy dresses down to their, you know, down to the grin stuff, things like that. Even on the box art, that's kind of what they show as little, you know, people and stuff. And I couldn't find anything close to that. And Hobby Link is pretty much the go-to. They carry pretty much every brand and figure imaginable. They didn't have nothing close to it, and the only thing that might have come close was maybe some actually some workers like the crew that might have working on the boat and stuff. And for like a half a dozen to a dozen little figures, unpainted ones in a lot of cases, they were talking $20–$25. And like I said, maybe if it was photo etch or something to detail up different things on this ship, I thought about it. But if it was like $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, I might have thought about ordering some people to put on here to add some more realism to it. But at that high price for little figures that you're barely going to be able to see anyway because they're so tiny, no, that's a little bit out of my book. I may add, because this is actually not so much, it's a passenger ship back in the day, but it was also their way they hauled cargo up and down the Mississippi from town to town and everything, corn and you know, meat, barrels, maybe whiskey or something, you know, anything you can imagine. So I made out of some like little square balsa wood and some round dowels and stuff. I might do some little stacks of like crates and barrels up in the front here, and then kind of fill in the spaces, make it look like there's a little bit of, you know, stuff going on in there and all that. So other than that, it's getting dark. I wanted to get a little light so I could finish up about how I built the model and the different issues and all that. So we're gonna call this the build part of this series done now, and the next video that I put up is going to be or that I do is going to be later on tonight, later this evening. It's going to be with the lights turned on and you know, in kind of low room lighting and stuff, so you could see how it came out with the lighting and all that. And then we'll discuss a little bit more there. And like I said, if there's any details, I know I went through a lot of stuff. I didn't focus on just one thing in general. I went over quick on a lot of the issues. If anybody's got questions, like I said, it's sometimes easier to just discuss things outside of the comment section because it could get linked. And you're free to, my email's been getting put on the description link in their video, so you're free to email me, exchange phone numbers, and I can walk through it step by step, or you know, or give you a little bit better description, just what you got to do, and you know, different things like that. Don't be afraid to contact me. I don't helping people out at all, okay? Especially if you guys are newcomers or somebody that never built a boat model, but they find these to be interesting and stuff. You know, I'm more than willing to go out and help you as much as I can. So till the next time, thanks for all my subscribers. Thanks for leaving all the great comments. Thanks for hitting the like button. Thanks for watching these videos. I hope they're helpful, whether you're building this particular model or something else that might have a lot of issues. You know, you can take a lot of the stuff that I used on here to other poorly models from back in the day, and that maybe weren't so great at fitting together and stuff, and learn to fill gaps and putty work and filling things with strips, scratch fill and stuff and all that. I don't, like I said before too, I don't do a build video on everything I do. I only do that maybe once or twice a year if it's a model that I think people might find interesting. I only do that, you know, a couple times a year. It does take up a lot more time out of you building something, and sometimes in this case, this model, any distraction when I got on something and things were starting to go smooth and fall into place for me, with all the add-in styrene stuff, it's just like you hate to stop because you got things going smooth, and I wanted to get this finished and out of the way so I could get back to my normal mode of modeling, you know, my sci-fi kits and different things like that. So we'll see you guys. Until then, you guys all have a good evening. You take care, and we'll talk to you. Bye.